Welcome students after a refreshing break. The next topic for we are going to begin is your chapter number 3, second exercise, that is property of perfect square numbers. First property is the number which is ending with 2, 3, 7, 8 are not perfect squares. Perfect squares means when you have to look for any number which when multiplied by itself gives you that number, like 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. 25 is a perfect square, means when you can get a number which when multiplied by itself gives you a number, and that number is a whole number, not in decimals. On the other hand, the number which ends with 1, 4, 5, 6, 9 or 0 are perfect numbers, and the number which ends with 2, 3, 7, 8 are not perfect squares. Remember, 0 means, next property you will learn that in the property 2, that the zeros which a number is ending with should be even in number. If it has a odd number of zeros like 1 0, 3 0, 5 zeros, then that will not be a perfect square. But instead, if it is two zeros, if a number is ending with two zeros, four zeros, 6, 8 zeros, then the number will be a perfect square. Now property number 3 and 4 is related with whenever the number ends is even number, or you can say the number even number has its square also even, and odd number has also a square as a odd number. Property 5 is if any square, if you find of any of the fraction, the square number of that fraction is smaller than the number. Like over here, example 2 by 3 is a fraction. If you find its square, it becomes 4 upon 9, and 4 upon 9 is smaller than 2 by 3. It means square of that proper fraction is smaller than the original fraction. Property 6 says that if you have to find a difference between the square of two consecutive numbers, then you can get the answer only just by adding those two numbers. Over here there is one example from your exercise. You have two numbers 37 and 32 which are consecutive numbers. If you have to find the difference of the squares of these numbers, you can just add 38 plus 37, and you will get the answer as same as the difference in the square. Now property 7 says that that if you add the consecutive odd numbers, that time its sum will be equal to the square of the numbers you are adding. Remember, it should be first starting from 1. Like in the first case, you are adding 5 numbers and they are all consecutive odd numbers, so its sum will be 5 square, that is 25. Same way, in the second example, there are 8 numbers without leaving any gap. So 8 square, its sum will be 64. And if further, if you are adding 11 numbers, odd numbers like this, its sum will be 11 square, that is 121. Now before moving on to the next property, you should know what is Pythagorean triplet. You have learned in your class 7 Pythagoras theorem. It is based on the right angle triangle. You have three sides in a triangle. In a right angle triangle, the largest side is called a hypotenuse, and you have learned that base square plus perpendicular square is equal to hypotenuse square. So based on this, you have a next property that if it is given there, you have been given a smaller side, you can find the other two sides of the which satisfies the Pythagoras theorem. Like if m and p are three sides, and we know that base square, that is m square plus n square, is equal to p square. We are taking p as a larger side, which is a hypotenuse side. And for any number, if m is greater than 1, then the three sides will be 2m, m square minus 1, and m square plus 1. Suppose in the example, if you have been given that the smallest side is, let's say, 8, then it means 2m is equal to 8. First you will find the value of m, which is equal to 4, and then by putting the value of m into the other two, that is m square minus 1 and m square plus 1, you can find the other two sides of a triangle. It will be more clear to you when you will see the exercise from the book and when you will solve it. I hope the properties are clear. There are certain expansions which I have covered in the next video. Kindly go through it and it is going to be a helpful. That's all for this properties.